Hey everybody.
Hey y'all.
I'm Ebony.
And I'm Joy. And I said it again.
You did.
Sorry.
So good. We want to welcome you back to your auntie's house.
Ooh, yes. So it's season 3, y'all. And as you know, we are with the house guest. So I'm super excited because this is one of my best friends from middle school. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So yeah, house guest. Who is you? Who are you? What you doing
What's
here?
up, y'all? Hey, no, I appreciate it. It's an honor to be on the podcast. You guys have been like awesome. I'm really, really proud of you first and foremost. But I'm Evan. I've been Joy's friend for going on 15 years, I guess, give or take a few years maybe. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Grew up in the Snow Mountain area. And what else? What else can I say?
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
and I feel like you're trying to one up me.
Right.
I've enjoyed spring for 15 years. I'm like, okay.
So this is my first time meeting Evo, but I've heard so much about you.
Same.
Likewise.
By the way. So
Thanks.
yeah.
Thank you.
I
He's
forgot
nice.
that. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Right. I forgot that y'all hadn't met yet. So, and this will be you're our first guest that like the other one doesn't know.
Right.
Like I just realized that.
Yeah,
just sitting here,
that's
like,
funny.
so
That's
our
funny.
first 2 guests were both people that we're both friends with. So you're my guest, right? So yes.
The show.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and get it cracking. So as y'all know, we've been talking about just really trying to be adults outside for real, and how tumultuous that can be from time to time.
Adulthood is the most ghetto hood
It
there
is the worst one that
It's
I've
the
been to.
hoodest one.
That I've been to personally.
Hated
it. 0 stars. But anyway, so Evan, we want to talk to you kind of just about like your journey, right? And so we want to always like define what we're talking about when we say that. So like thinking about and forgive me if I forget some on the list, your professional journey, your journey of self, what did I say? Your creative journey,
and
spiritual journey. And so we just kind of want to start off by asking like, what is one, which of those do you feel the most led to speak about, and take it away?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak about all of them. I can start with my professional journey and then kind of transition into spiritual, and creative. So yeah, professionally speaking, I graduated from Georgia State University with a dual degree in marketing and finance. Right after graduation, I was dragged to Dallas, Texas. I worked for AT&T. So they basically came and said, "Hey, Ev, we have a job here for you. You can either take it and, have a great career here, or you can not take it and good luck finding another job kind of thing." And so I took it because I had history with AT&T. Honestly speaking, it was like one of the biggest / scariest decisions that I've ever made. So I'm a big family guy, and, no one in Dallas. And so, and they also didn't pay for relocation, which also was asked. But so hence the dragging out there. But I decided to take the offer, and I moved out to AT&T with the belief that I'd have a finance job and love what I do. And that was not the case when I moved out there. So I moved out there, got into a crazy amount of debt because I didn't have any money graduating college. And I still needed an apartment, I still needed furniture, and all that extra stuff. And I get there, and it's the first day of work, and they don't even have like a set job for me, which was like the most irritating thing that I've probably ever experienced. And they put me in this program, and eventually I ended up in internal audit, which, if anyone knows anything about audit, it's like really good.
Yeah, we don't.
But okay, well, I'll tell you briefly what I was dealing with. Like it was like contractual compliance, basically like looking into contracts that we had with our external vendors, and basically saying like, hey, are you guys in breach of contract or not? And which had nothing to do with my career. And I was extremely frustrated. And it's probably one of the toughest times in my life, other than this past year, that I can remember, just because I just didn't know what to do. I'm extremely impatient at times. And I tend to plan out my life like 10 years at a time, give or take. And so I had my 10-year plan, and audit was not in the 10-year plan. Long story short, I happened to be in audit for like a year and some change, and I was just like, damn, this is really setting me back. Like, I'm supposed to be in finance, getting some experience, getting that experience. I can go to grad school, then I go to grad school, and I graduate, and I make all this money, and like, none of that shit was happening. And so, long story short, I got out of audit, and I kind of talked about like kind of like the learnings that I had while in audit, and kind of like how I had to like get out of myself and kind of like the expectations that I had about the professional world and how it's supposed to be and all that stuff. But long story short, I got out of audit, and I'm currently a senior corporate strategy analyst at Box Incorporated.
Heard that.
Box Incorporated is essentially a over the cloud content management platform, right? And I just started this role last August, and it's been really good. Like, I mean, I'll be frank, I don't really enjoy working in general.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
as far as, I guess, all the jobs that I've had, it's definitely easiest, or definitely the best that I've had so far. So enjoying it. Don't really like enjoy the hours, but I like it. Yeah, so it's been good.
Okay. Well, first of all, right.
Senior.
Right.
You use such big words, analyst.
You
so
heard
crazy.
I was telling Evo, I'm screaming. I was telling her before we like did the episode, I was like, when we were trying to figure out what guests we wanted to have and stuff, I said, you know, a lot of our friends are super like artsy fartsy like us, right? Like we're super like creative. How does this feel? You know, like real like, correct, right. Ooh, to a point. Yeah. But I was like, so we wanted to kind of have like a balance to like people who are just a little bit more like business minded. So, okay, because you really ran it up.
Yeah, I love that. It's cool.
But and that's the first time I heard you say like you didn't have like I don't think I knew that you didn't have a job like going.
Yeah, I mean, so I had a job, but it was like they didn't know what I was gonna do, kind of thing. Like they were paying me, but they were like, well, we don't really know what you guys are gonna do yet. And they just kind of like put us in some like bullshit program. We literally just like sat on our ass and played ping pong downstairs for like 6 months, give or take. So like it wasn't like, you know, the worst thing in the world, but like at the same time, like I felt like they were wasting my time. I was like, y'all are wasting my time. Like I can easily go back to Atlanta where literally all of my friends and family are, and not have paid, you know, to literally move myself to Dallas. And so that was kind of like where the irritation came from. But like I was chilling, so you know, pros and cons to everything.
Right.
Right. Okay, so speaking a little bit about, you know, because you've kind of taken us through your professional journey. What about your self journey? Like, how were you? I don't know if we want to go all the way back, you know, to Lil Evan.
Yeah.
Lil Evan.
Okay.
You know, like how did you develop, I guess you can say, as an individual, and like how did that inform how you are as a professional?
Ooh,
Great question.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My parents are very structured. Give you more background. I came from I guess a third generation college household. So my grandparents went to college, my parents went to college, and my parents graduated from Georgia Tech. So I guess you can say they're relatively intelligent people, right? So with that being said, they also had a very structured idea of how they wanted to raise their children and what they saw for their children in the future, right? So like from as young as I can remember, I already knew that like I was gonna go to middle school, high school, college, and work in corporate. Like from the time I was like 12 years old or younger, right? And growing up, really, that was like my only option. Like they would always tell me, like, hey, like, you know, you can do what you want to do, but make sure you can make money from doing what you want to do. So honestly, that's kind of why like I'm the corporate drone that I am, is because, you know, they always told me like, we're not paying, or you're not going to go to school to get an art degree, or be um, a teacher, or like any of that kind of stuff. And like no
shade it off
to those professions, because obviously we need them, but they were like, that's not for you, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, like at the same time, I always wanted to be like my parents. Like they were heroes, right? And growing up, life wasn't always easy, meaning like finances weren't always readily available. And so like I saw my parents, I saw my grandparents like be able to like come together and like basically put the team on their back, and be able to help not only me and my younger brothers, but the rest of my family as well. And so growing up, that was something that like I knew that that's something I wanted to be able to do when I deemed myself successful, right? And so growing up, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't really apply myself when I was younger. So in high school, my parents got divorced, and it's kind of a shit show. I turned into a bad kid, right? I mean, I let one of my football teammates like rent the apartment that we were renting to go to a specific school district. I would poke holes in my parents' or my mom's perfume. I didn't apply myself in high school. Graduated with like a 2.8 GPA. Barely got into college. And, like barely got into college. Like Georgia State was like one of the few schools that I was even comfortable like applying to. I applied to Tech because my parents were Tech, and I was supposed to go to Tech. Like that was like, hey Evan, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna go to Georgia Tech, go Yellow Jackets, yada yada yada. Did not get into Tech. I was surprised, ironically, knowing that I had a 2.8. I was like, damn, y'all didn't let me in. Like I'm like, but
I could have a 1.5.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, but I didn't get in. And so I ended up going to Georgia State on a remedial program, and that was kind of when I guess turned my life around, so to speak. I started realizing that like, I cannot blame everything that's happening in my life based on my parents' divorce. It was kind of like a really wake up call for me, because like I was just like mad, like just really, really mad. And my mom happened to be the one who stayed, so she was the one who got the blunt of the upsetness from Evan. So that's where I go into like I was poking holes in her perfume. It was really like childish like stuff. And yeah, I went to college, excuse me, and about sophomore year is kind of when I was like, all right, well, I guess I should get my shit together. And because I knew my mom is not the parent to support me after a certain age. That was also something that like was like kind of ingrained into me as a young boy, right? Like, hey, 18, 19, you are good. You are out of the house. You are no longer, where of course, I was still her dependent, like from a technical standpoint, but she wasn't really doing anything aside from like showing up randomly at my campus, saying, hey, what you doing kind of thing. She wasn't financially supporting me or anything like that. And so like I had to get a job. It was not my first job, but my first real job that I had to like go out and apply for myself kind of thing. So I got a job at Sports Authority. I started really paying attention to my grades, started looking into internships, and essentially like kind of like looking into what life is going to be like without the support of my mom, basically giving me everything. And it was tough. Like I didn't really know what to do, honestly speaking, but I was fortunate enough to meet a few people who had similar goals and similar mindsets, and they kind of like led me to the water, so to speak. And was able to get an internship. But yeah, that's kind of like what drove me to be kind of like not who I am, but like those are the circumstances that led me to be kind of like who I am as an adult.
All right, poking holes in the perfume.
Right, that was where I'm stuck at, right?
Like what? Like what do you mean? Like in the bottle?
In the bottle?
Like what?
No, so you know how like perfume or cologne bottles have like the there's like a little hole in the spray.
Yeah, yeah.
I would ruin it, like completely ruin it, to where like if you would press down, it would just leak. Kind of.
So you made the hole bigger.
Yeah, like yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
What?
useless after I was done with it. But you know,
Evan
kids.
Valentine.
That's next level.
That's like still the back of your
trolling.
head.
Yeah, that's next level trolling. Like, wow, like you don't want me to smell
You
this.
don't.
Is that
Uh,
deep?
That's it.
I would hide her earrings. Like it was over with. It was a bad kid. So
This is my first time hearing a couple of these
Said I
things.
wanted a son.
Not that one. But okay. Wow, you said a lot.
Yeah, you
And it just made me think of like, okay, he was like, okay, this is what they said you were gonna be, and everybody can answer this question, but like, this is what they said you were gonna be. But what is it? Do you remember ever having a thought like, this is what I want to be when I grow up, or was it just immediately kind of like crowded out by that voice? Like, don't worry about it. Yellow
yeah,
jacket.
that's the crazy thing. Like I've never had a passion really. I mean, I would say if I had a passion now, if I had to, if someone said, "Hey, name a passion," I'm going to shoot you, kind of thing. I would say fitness, right?
fitness.
Fitness.
Okay.
But at the same time, like it was something I never even considered pursuing because I was always told, like, "Hey, if you can't make money from it, it's not for you." And you know, personal training is kind of one of those industries where it's like a hit or miss kind of thing. Either like you're successful and you know you join a nice gym or you open up your own gym, potentially do celebrity training, or now like you know the Instagram influencers, or you know you work at LA Fitness or Planet Fitness or one of those, and you know they don't generally make too much. So it was nothing. It was like literally I never even considered anything but like business because I knew my parents were in business and they were like, you know, you're going to be in business. And I was like, okay, I'm going to college now. I'll be in business and I'll have a job, a corporate job, and work till 40 years just like y'all did. And then I'll retire. And that was literally like my line of thinking for 25 years of my life. I'm 27. So, yeah.
Mine changed every year. I wanted to be something different every single year. Like, I think I went from wanting to be a choreographer with like her own dance studio, and I wanted to be called journalism. I remember it's like an old diary. And then I wanted to be a hairdresser. No. I can't break my own.
The way freaking does not like her hair right now.
Which is why I have no choice but to be successful because I gotta be able to pay somebody else to do this stuff.
That's it.
I wanted to be an OBGYN.
Wow.
I wanted to be an optometrist, that's the eye doctor. I wanted to be a dentist. But beneath all of that, I really, really wanted to be an entertainer. Like, I think out of all of that, I was just like, I want to be an entertainer. And that was like, I wanted to be a pharmacist at one point. I wanted to be everything, but underneath was just an entertainer. And I think because really at the surface, it was the same thing. Like in my family, if it don't make money, then it's like, don't even, don't even consider that. And I think that's why I always kept like entertainer at the back of my mind. Cause I was just like, I don't know if singers make money, or like performers really making money like that. So I'll be a doctor, but I'll like sing on the side. Or like I'll be this, but I'll like perform on the side. When really like this is always what I wanted to do. And your gifts will make room for you. And I also feel like they will make money for you too. So yeah, it changed every year. And I think that's just because I was scared to really like declare that what I really wanted to do was something that people don't consider to be like a money maker. Unless you like that.
Yeah. And you like that.
Thank you, friend.
But that's so interesting. Because I don't know if it's necessarily like, I don't know if it was like if it doesn't make money, then it's a no in my house. But I definitely think it was like, if it doesn't require any sort of like training that you can, what's the word, that you can get a certificate for, then it's a, what is that type thing? Like, so my people, well, maybe not so much my dad, but my mom definitely, like, she'll never outwardly say like, I don't believe in entertainment or I don't believe in creative industries. But it's there, right? Your mama, so you can read between the lines. Like now, if you want to do this, then that's one thing. But anything that she ever sort of encouraged us to do, like even when it came to like creativity. So I like always say that like she was a super big supporter of me dancing and all the things, but that was something that I had to train for. You know what I'm saying? It was like you have to be trained to do this. So everybody can't just walk around and be like, yeah, I'm a dancer. It's like, yeah, everyone can move, right? Like everyone can do that. But like, oh, excuse me. I'm just saying, like everyone, but like I cannot, and like even not even me, but like me, I can't walk up to Debbie Allen now and be like, hey girl, I'm your next girl. I haven't been in somebody's ballet class in 12,000 years, right? So it's like I can't realistically say. So anyway, I'm saying all that to say that it wasn't necessarily the money thing. It wasn't like if it doesn't make money, then stop that. It was more so like, if you can't prove that you have been trained for this, then I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Type thing. So but I think I have the same like reflection when I think about like my time in college and how, because I always had this moment, I think I'm just now starting to like unlearn it and get out of it, where it's like at a point you have to start to put away your creativity. Like at a point you have to start to put away the things that you really enjoyed when you were little, because that's somehow childish, or it's somehow like, it's time to be grown now. So, you got to stop that. But when I think back over my life, but when I just think back to all the things that I was doing in college, like while I was still doing my class things, right? I also was on a couple dance teams. I was also doing like event things. So just all the things that, your true self is always going to show itself. I think like you can try to, suppress it and act like it's not there. But I think you'll find ways, even without you knowing, to continue to like express that part of yourself.
I agree. Hence hobbies, I guess. It's generally why people have hobbies, right? So.
So that brings me to, so outside of like fitness and things, when you're trying to like minister to little Evan, like what do you, or have you like started to get back into like, what do I actually like? Like, what do I, okay.
Yeah, so I've tried. It's new year, new me kind of thing. But I actually started last year, right? And I really love to bake. And so my best friend and I are actually kind of like in the works, like early on in the works of like creating a cupcake business. And it's kind of just one of those things that like I know that I've always enjoyed doing, and kind of like it started as a kid, honestly. Like my dad, I would go to my dad's house and he would always bake cupcakes, or we would always bake cupcakes or cheesecakes over the weekend while we're at his house, right? And so in college, I started, trying my hand at some of these things, and came out pretty good. Surprisingly so. And so I was like, okay, this is, just a fun thing to do kind of thing in my spare time. And at the time, my best friend David was my roommate, and I kind of got him into it. And I moved away, and I came back to Atlanta, and he came to me and was like, hey, like Evan, like, would you be down for, a cupcake business? He is kind of like very entrepreneurial, and I'm more, I guess, corporate, right? But I've always, and I guess not always, but I've realized recently that there are other ways to be successful outside of corporate life. And so I've always been extremely hesitant doing my own thing, just because like I'm risk adverse, and I appreciate the stability that the 9 to 5 gives you, I guess. And that's also what I've been raised to do. But aside from that, so yeah, we're starting a cupcake business. It's actually called Franken Cakes. The idea behind that is essentially like Frankenstein was a mad creation, right? So Franken Cakes would be an opportunity for folks to come in and create their own cupcakes. So we'll have like, the base, cakes, various flavors, both vegan and non-vegan. And then just like a bunch of toppings and things that you can like throw on your cupcake and just make it whatever you want it to be. So that's something I've recently really gotten into. Another thing that I really
don't steal that. Okay, right. It's trademark. Sorry,
don't even.
Absolutely, please don't, because we. we're trying to make it like everybody else. But
Sure.
another thing that I really, really enjoy doing is hiking. And I'm a big outdoors guy in general, like whether it's at Piedmont Park, that's something me and my family would always go do. Whether it's at Piedmont Park, a random park, or a lot of times we'll go up to North Georgia and find different hiking trails. But that's something I've really gotten back into doing. I had stopped for a long time, primarily because I was in Dallas, and Dallas is not known for its hiking trails. But since being back in Georgia, I've been able to get back out there. And it's just a good time to like get outside of myself, be in nature, and it's good exercise too. So
That's really cool. I went hiking once.
True.
I told myself that my last birthday.
Oh yes. Yes, I forgot. Yes. Yes,
She went with me.
Mm-hmm.
My last birthday, I actually spent on Stone Mountain.
Yes.
hey,
Yeah, I came up there. And well, I really wanted to hike a mountain for my 28th birthday. Like I was just like, I want to hike because unlike yourself, I am not outdoorsy.
Unlike yourself, yeah.
I am not outdoorsy. I don't like. I like to look at it if I know I can go inside.
There it is.
I like beaches.
Yeah,
that's outdoors.
It is.
That's pretty cool. But I told myself, like, I was like, I really want to hike a mountain because it's something that I just feel like I would never do. But I loved it. And I was like, I would like to get into hiking as well. It was more than I anticipated because I think I just thought that it was just going to be a walk. In my mind, I'm like, it's just a walk outdoors. It is not. Like by the time we got to the top and was walking down, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't feel my legs. And I was like, okay, so it was actually doing way more than I thought. But it was great, and it was like enlightening, and I had a little moment like at the top of the mountain, and it was really cool. Back to you, the baking, the baking. How far does that go? Like you want like the creme brulee, or like you can do a little cake, a little pie type situation?
So
what's the little bread that you made us? What was that? He made us a little loaf. I don't know what it was when you brought.
Oh yeah, the cranberry chocolate loaf. Yeah. That was pretty good. I was rushing, so it was like,
of course, he was
right.
You don't have to say anything else. Actually, if you're baking bread, like if you're making, that's really all you have to say. Like I don't know nobody that's making loaves of bread, let alone flavored ones. So congratulations to you. I wish much success to your case because I know it's gonna. Just by that, you're making loaves of bread. Crazy.
No, I appreciate it.
That's
yeah. Loaves of bread. I'm telling you, my mom was the only one I know, and mom was the only one that I know.
Like you actually have like a pan, like for loaves.
Yeah. It was just like I wanted to try something different, kind of thing. I had never made it before, to be honest with you. I made it. The time I brought it to the event that Joy and I were at was like the second time, but I had never tried it prior to that. And I was like, it turned out well. I'm bringing something, Friendsgiving, so it was good.
Yeah. That is so cool.
First of all, I love all these little tidbits because I always tell people like I think I be knowing my friends for real, and then like there's always one other little known Black history fact that I just have no idea about.
Which that's cool. I love the fact that she's also getting to know some things about you because I know y'all got some skin in the game, but like it's just great to know that.
She said that with a little bit of jealousy.
There was no jealousy.
Slight bit, like
what?
Slight bit. It's fine.
Hey, we can be cool, Evo. We can be cool.
It's cool. We here. Like I know you. You know me.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I'm screaming. Okay. So while y'all do that, getting back. Still talking about the journey and thinking about the journey and all of those things. I'm wondering, can you think of like so I know you mentioned earlier about like going to college and you were like that was kind of your first reality check and like, let's, whatever. And everyone, you can answer this too, friend. Was there a moment that you feel like in your journey that you could see your growth in real time? This is my favorite question to ask people now. Like, is there a moment where you're just like, I would have reacted differently had this been yesterday or 3 weeks ago or a year ago? So
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
It was, you like thinking of it like it was coming while you were.
yeah, it was coming. But yeah, I think I briefly mentioned it earlier, but I actually did try to go to grad school while I was in Dallas. It was kind of like my way out, so to speak. And I went really hard for the preparation and all the stuff that you have to do. Took the GMAT. Actually went to visit schools. Had interviews with the schools, all that good stuff. And long story short, I did not get into grad school. And at the time, like it really defeated me. Like I was like, damn, like this was the first time I really tried at something and didn't succeed. Because a lot of times I'll put like a half-ass effort into it and kind of get by kind of thing. And this was like the first time I was like, okay, I need this. I really, really, really want to, be in grad school. I want to, go to Emory or whichever, or Duke. These are some of the schools I was applying to. And,
just kidding.
I actually applied to UNC too, but they also did not accept it. So, but anyway, but it was something like I really, really wanted to do, and I felt like I needed this, and I didn't get in. And after being waitlisted and finally being told like, "Hey, we love you, but no go," kind of thing, I got really depressed. Like I was like, "Damn, like, I tried. Like what? This is odd. Like I really tried, and like, what am I supposed to do if I can't achieve something that I really, really tried to do?" And it was kind of like one of those moments. And now, like looking back, like I'm like, damn, like Evan, relax, kind of thing. Because it was really just a timing thing. Looking back, right? It really just wasn't the time for grad school. And I was pushing for it because I knew I wanted to be out of Dallas, but at the same time, like there was a lot more I wanted to or needed to learn in my corporate experience and or role to really understand what I went to go to grad school for. And honestly, I was just using grad school to get out of Dallas and to get more money, to be honest with you. But coming from that experience, it was just something I had to look back on and understand that like I need to be more patient with myself. Like I said earlier, like I tend to plan things out extensively. And so grad school was a part of that plan. I was like, oh, I'm 25. It's time to go to grad school, and not realizing that, like, whenever I make that plan, like, that may not be what's best for me at that point in time. And so, like, I've had a lot of experiences over, like, especially the past year, where I've had to kind of lean on that learning experience of being patient with myself, just because it was a tough year, to be honest. And I was really, really upset with myself because I was making what I believe to be very dumb mistakes and non-Evan-like mistakes. Like Evan, don't make mistakes like this. What is going on, kind of thing. And had lots of conversations with my friends and family about what was going on, and they were a lot of times just as surprised as I was. But I learned and leaned on again that like I am really not like patient with myself. I don't give myself really any grace. Like it's just like Evan, like this is what you're supposed to do at this point in time. And if you have not done that at this point in time, you have failed. And because you have failed, you are a failure. And in reality, that's really not the case. So it's something that I really had to like remind myself of way more often than I would like to admit. But definitely something that I've kind of leaned on and learned over the years. So
now you're talking, friend. Because you said something. Sorry, you said something where you were like, I was using this thing just to escape this thing. And it just made me think of like how many times I have used something as a vehicle of escape, not because I actually wanted the thing. You know what I'm saying? It was like, did I really want the degree or was I just trying to get out of Dallas?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did I really want the thing, or was it just my means of like, I got to get out of here. You got to do something. And like, I don't know. I'm wondering like, if it had worked out, where do you think, like, how do you think you would be different, or what do you think would have happened?
I think if it would have worked out, I
The
would
way you
just,
thought it should have worked out.
yeah. I mean, if it would have, I think it would just be, I have a degree and I make probably a little bit more than I do now. But like to your point, like I didn't really want to go to school. Like full transparency, I have not applied or looked at grad school programs since then. Like I have a job that I actually like now. I'm learning things. I wanted to go to grad school to be in strategy. I've been fortunate enough to get a job in strategy. So like I really don't have that desire to go to grad school anymore and incur more debt kind of thing. I mean, maybe if it happens and they're like, hey, I'll pay for you to go to college again, then I'll be like,
Right.
but like otherwise, like, I'm really not all that interested. And so like to your point, I really do think it was like one of those things where like I was literally using that grad school to leave Dallas or to get out of Dallas. I knew if I went to grad school full time, I can no longer work at AT&T. So unfortunately, I will have to move back home where I wanted to be from the jump. So yeah, unfortunately.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely probably something that I have done and or probably potentially still do to get out of situations that I don't want to be in. I'll probably make, I guess it's an excuse at the end of the day to like, you know, to get out of it without like acknowledging what's really going on, kind of thing. Thanks. So yeah.
Ooh, I just want to let that one simmer for a second. Right. Woo, incorrect. Without acknowledging what's really going on. Did you hear that part? That's what I was stuck on. Okay. Because I feel like you're really just loud today. Because I'm just thinking about like how much like, you know what I'm saying? Like how much I don't know. I saw this post one time where it was like, why am I in such a, like when you're going through something tough and then it's like, I wish this would hurry up and be over. It's like, why am I rushing through my life? Because you know what I'm saying? Because like what happens at the end of this hard thing? There's another one. Right. It's another hard thing. Right. So, and not in like a depressing way, but just in a way that's like you're not going to be able to appreciate all of the lessons. You're not going to be able to appreciate all of the growth and appreciate all of the like the fun in short that you do actually have in the thick of it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I really ball out. Like when I'm going through something, I'm like, okay, we gotta figure out how to shake this loose somehow. So yeah.
I guess it's kind of like a play on the phrase trust the process. I think sometimes maybe we need to replace trust with appreciate. Because I feel like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like, the process is very much so important, because once you get to the destination, then what?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think like in that you also have to appreciate the process. Like, where am I now? What, these moments I am not going to get back. So that made me think of that.
I agree. No, like to your point though, I think that's a thing that I don't know if it's a millennial thing or not, but I think Joy and I were having a conversation about it a few days ago, or the last time we spoke, and it's one of those things where like we will achieve something and then immediately start looking for the next thing that we're supposed to be doing instead of like not like we can even like sometimes really congratulate, acknowledge, kind of like feel what's happening. Like we're already looking forward to what's next instead of like appreciating the journey and not looking towards that destination. So.
Cause ain't the destination death? I ain't being funny, but like
I mean,
that's the end.
That's the end.
Yeah, like that's quiet as it's kept. Like, cause, and I was telling Evo too, I was like, I don't want to ask this super cliche question, like, do you think it's the journey? Like, do you think we ever, like, cause everyone knows the answer to that question, right? No, we haven't. But like, I don't know, like, when you think it's like that is the, like, at the end of my life, that's my destination, sweetie. So like in the middle, that's the journey.
Yeah.
Like, all I can do is keep keep doing it until I can't anymore. And so, y'all are so
You
deep.
just keep putting that one foot
One foot in
the
front of the other. Yes, indeed.
because of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good combo. I have another question for you.
Ask away.
Okay, if you could describe your journey thus far in 3 words, what would those 3 words be? You know, that could be one for everybody, actually.
Okay.
Okay. Do you all want to go? You want me to-
Nah, you can.
Right. That. I'll group. I suppose. So I'll take that. 3 words to describe my journey thus far would probably be not in any particular order, but discomfort,
Ooh.
patience, and discovery. Ooh, okay.
All right. Those are good, and they came quickly. I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna take like ding, ding, ding. Like, wow, okay.
Discomfort. I think that should be first. I know you said no particular order.
Yeah,
but
discomfort. That's great. Discomfort, patience, discovery.
discovery is good.
That's a good 3.
Mm.
That's a big 3 there.
Mhm.
Nice little trifecta. Right. Joy.
Girl. Let's see. Ooh. Hold on.
I don't even know. Look,
give me
we probably should have thought about this before he just answered.
You did. I just knew I was gonna have some more things.
Well, I can elaborate on what they mean, and then y'all can take the
That's
you know.
extra
Yeah.
time. Yes.
I would guess like you.
But now we gotta listen, right?
And listen.
Yeah. Okay. So for the discomfort piece, like I just had like a lot of uncomfortable situations, like being in Dallas, being by myself, having to make new friends out of college was like extremely uncomfortable. Also like not having like what I'm used to seeing being like what I'm used to seeing in Atlanta not existing in Dallas was like it took an adjustment period for me. Also like just being uncomfortable. Like last year, I kind of talked about it, but like it was a shit year. Like I got in like 3 different car accidents.
Yeah.
Self all self imposed, like user error. And then up and down in my personal life. My mom was going through some shit. It was just like an uncomfortable year. But learned that, you know, comfort and growth don't coexist. Meaning, like, generally speaking, you grow when you are most uncomfortable. And when you are comfortable, there's less opportunities for growth.
Wow.
So that's the first one. Patience, really just because like I'm a like really, really impatient person. And when I like set my mind to something, I kind of like, I don't know if it's an expectation or what, but like I want it to happen way faster than it probably even needs to a lot of times. Like, it'll be like a thought in my head, like kind of thing, like, oh, I want to raise. And the next thing you know, I'm like drafting emails like of like, okay, how can I phrase like I need more money to my boss kind of thing? Like instead of like, actually taking the time to like understand like, well, why do I want to raise? Is it because I can't afford what I have currently? Is it because like I want to be able to give more money to my folks? Is it because I want new shoes? Like that kind of stuff. Because a lot of time, honestly speaking, like if I had cut back my expenses, I'd be straight. Like I would be straight, more than straight. But I make dumb decisions with my money. So patience, and then discovery. Primarily because I learned a lot about myself last year. I understood or realized rather that I was not completely healed from my parents' divorce and that I was still carrying on like a lot of that trauma and or hurt and like the friendships and the relationships that I have to this day. And didn't really know that until I went to therapy. And honestly, like I thought therapy was a joke before last year. I was like, why on earth would I be talking to someone I do not know from the back of my hand about like personal shit. Like, you cannot provide me any insight that I can take away. But, saying all that, now I understand the importance of therapy. And big advocate for therapy. I think, just having a safe space where you can talk about how you feel is important. And I think I won't speak for the entire Black community, but I feel like a lot of times, like, Black folks, especially Black men, don't feel like they have a safe space to talk about their feelings, or don't feel like they should talk about their feelings a lot of times. And so I just think it's important. And yeah, those are 3 words. So
That's good.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
That's good there. Yeah, Black men go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Everybody go to therapy. Right.
Everybody. Please.
Everybody do it.
Please.
yes.
I think I have a 3.
Come on, 3.
They're kind of fun. They're not as like bing, bing, bing as yours, but I can explain. So I'm going to say unlearn.
Oh, boy.
Process. And jazz. Let me explain. Unlearn, because there are just several things that I felt like I had a handle on. That I knew that I knew what I knew. And I did not. There are a lot of things like about myself, about dealing with other people, about how I handle different emotions, that I just felt like I just knew I had all the answers. I was always right. And there are just certain things that over the past couple of years, I've literally had to unlearn, because I did not know what I thought I knew. So that would be unlearning. Process, I'm going to use that double. So it's really like 4 words, because process, it's really just journey, right? And just really falling in love with the process and like actually doing the things. And then also processing, because I was not a person who really like went through things and like sat with them. Like I never really like came face to face with what I was feeling, whether that be grief or depression or anxiety. Like I don't feel like I was ever really good at processing my emotions or things or situations that I went through. And I think that like in most recent years and with therapy, and journaling and making music, that I feel like I've been able to actually process those. So I kind of like double process. And then jazz, because I feel like jazz is literally organized chaos.
Wasn't I was just talking. Yes, I was just talking to Evan about how like you can learn about your life through jazz music.
Jazz.
Keep going. That's nothing. We did not plan that.
Literally.
Know that.
Literally jazz. Jazz, and the reason I said, so jazz is literally organized chaos. Like if you're not a jazz fan, you like, what in the world is going on here? Literally, what in the world is going on here? But it's just beautiful. Like,
for 8 minutes at a time.
Literally, like, do you hear the horns? Do you hear the saxophone? But what is going on? That's literally how I feel about life. And how I have felt about life. Like I don't really know what's going on, but I just, what we said earlier, I just put one foot in front of the other because I know that life is beautiful.
That's true.
And I know that like with the horns being as loud as they are and the drums being as loud as they are and the keys being as loud as they are, when it's together,
you talking, friend,
it's really beautiful. It ends up being a really beautiful piece of music, whether you understand it or not. And maybe it's not meant to be understood.
Huh?
Well,
Thank you very much. So I'm gonna say unlearn, process, jazz.
Period.
You are a songstress, okay? Because that was really giving bridge to a song. Really know it's the part of the song where you just stop and talk. You know, that's the problem with
that.
Yeah. I was thinking back the other day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ooh. Okay, y'all that was good, y'all. Well, I think my 3 right now are contentment, joy, and action.
Those are good.
I think those are mine right now. So with contentment, I went home for Christmas And I was talking, I went out to coffee with my brother, and I was just talking to him about, like, he was like, all right, like, how are you? And I really just, I think over the last couple of years, I'd be pausing a little bit more on that question. Like, when it comes from people that I like know are genuinely asking me how I am.
Right.
So I was like, I paused for a second, and I was like, I'm okay. Like, I'm actually okay. Like, things, as both of you all know, are a little bit ratchet, right? Jazzy is the word. Yes, real jazzy right now. We had the drum solo. Like, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. But like, I was still just like, but I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. And I think with this like season of my life is, all the church girls gonna say season now. This season of my life is really like showing me that I don't need a lot of the things that I thought that I needed to feel something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need, because like when you think about, I don't know, like when you were like, okay, like I want to raise, right? Is it because I want to get more shoes? Is it because I want to help? Is it like, I think it's all just about, well, you said this before, just about the intention behind your, like what you want. So it's like, do I want this because I'm trying to serve myself more? Or do I want this because like I see a purpose in this that's outside of myself type thing? So with contentment, yes, I think just being okay in the chaos and being okay, like, just with joy and knowing that like I'm okay. Like I'm a good person. I do good things. I try to treat people right, all the things. What else did I say? Joy. Joy. Yeah. And so like joy being like, I always love my mom, like when she tells me the story of like why she like named me Joy. Because I came at a very hilarious time, I think, in her life where like probably a lot of things were going on. I don't know all the details, but just a lot of things were going on. But she just like declared over me. She was like, "This child is going to be my joy." And I think I always like to. I think sometimes we interchange them, but I always like to make the distinction between happiness and joy because like happiness is. I'm not saying that y'all don't already know now. Happiness is, it can be very circumstantial, right? So it's like I'm happy I got a raise. I'm happy we went to Six Flags today. I'm happy. I don't know why Six Flags is in my spirit, but I'm happy we did this thing. We went out to eat. We had this event, whatever. But like joy is just a little bit more stable. And so like really trying to focus on the joy of the Lord being my strength. like I don't know, like really trying to focus on that because it's just like it's more solid. Because if I'm trying to be happy all the time, that's just unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not. You're just not like just it's too many things that happen in the world for you to be trying to be happy all the time only because that's up and down. And then action is just like doing the thing, like so not talking so much about it and just actually doing it and then maybe telling the story later. But I think I sometimes like trap myself when it's like I said I was going to do this thing by this date and then I mess around and tell 10 people. And so when it doesn't happen, right, now the 10 people are like, girl, what happened? So so really trying to free myself up from that. It's like, well, if I don't like, I still tell your people that you are your confidants, right? Like the people are gonna like hold you accountable and do the things, but like it doesn't have to be this big announcement every single time you decide in your heart to do something because then you know what I'm saying, you're just subject to a lot of people's opinions and a lot of like stuff that's not really necessary or helpful to what you're trying to do. So that was my 3.
Those are good. I need to use some of those myself from both of y'all. Those are good. Yeah.
Likewise, I don't know why that discovery is just really like,
on me.
Hey, yeah,
it's the discomfort for me. Like discomfort really was like, yeah. Because I don't know if you just think about it with anything, like anything you've ever done, like just okay, forget about it. Learning how to walk when you're a baby, right? It's uncomfortable to push yourself up off the ground and start, you know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna fall, right? You're gonna fall repeatedly, right? Because
nobody's gonna pick me up.
Correct. Are you serious? Why? And I'm just
nobody's coming.
It's crazy. Okay. Well, that's good. Nobody's coming.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard that. Nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I had to learn too. Like, just being the baby of the family. Now I know you don't have this experience because you're the oldest, but like being the baby of the family, you do get accustomed to somebody coming to rescue you. Hello, yes, like somebody is like always sort of like, you know, peeking around to make sure the baby is good. So I think, one, those protections were like, I'm not saying people just left me out to dry type thing, but just like those protections were a little bit more removed this past year. And I think also even within myself, like trying to challenge myself to not immediately go to like my mom or my sister or my, like just really trying to be like, okay, really trusting God and what do you want me to do in this moment? Because sometimes I already have it. It's just I haven't tapped into it because I haven't had to.
Right.
Like, because somebody is always coming to get me. And so learning, ain't nobody coming to get you. Like,
no
praying,
coming up.
like,
get up.
Okay.
Stand up.
What's that?
Yeah.
Stand up.
Stand up. So
that's real.
It is real. That's pretty good.
Friend.
You got one last question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So we have one last question.
All right.
How do you hope that your journey will unfold? So what's next for Evan?
For Eve.
Honestly, I don't know if this is the answer that I should give, but I feel like, especially like from the learnings that I've recently had, like I want to, because I've always kind of like had those expectations of like how my journey is going to end and what's next. I am trying to be better in the sense of like really just enjoying the journey, to be honest with you. Like not always worrying about like how it's going to end or where I'm going to end up, or you know, if I'm, you know, going to be married in the next 3 years, or if I'm going to have a house anytime soon, or you know, other normal stuff too. But I think if I had to say how I hope it would end, I guess I would say I hope to be joyful. I hope to, you know, have close people around me to where like I can, you know, pour into, and then also them pour into me. And then last but not least, I will say, I hope I can, I guess, learn to, I guess, be happy or joyful by myself and not necessarily lean into other people making me or other things making me happy and or joyful. That's something I'm also like really, really trying to work on. So I guess those three things, without like putting like a destination to like how my journey will unfold, will probably be the what I hope to happen.
I like that.
That's good.
So it's like putting more emphasis on the being.
Yeah.
Instead of the becoming.
Well. That's crazy.
That's pretty good.
Love Michelle. Frank, how you hope your journey will unfold? That just made me.
Yeah, I think I'm very similar in that. Like I'm probably gonna lean on more of the being than the becoming. That's how I would like for it to unfold. I think that right now, because I'm in the thick of it, I'm more focused on the becoming. Like I want to be this and I want to be that, but I think that I agree with that. Like I want to be content in just enjoying the ride and like enjoying what it's taking to get there. Because once I get there, I don't want to forget about what I had to put into
to get there.
You know, so I hope that like that same hunger and that same confidence and that same contentment and that same joy, I will have. Like I hope that it will all remain once I get there. So,
yeah. Yes, retweet to everything that y'all just said. I think also I hope to fully experience like all of the things, because I think when we talk about like appreciate the journey, trust the process, all of the things, it's like I think in my mind I start to feel like, and I need to be happy about it the whole time. It's like, no, that's not reality. Like, so really also leaning into the fullness of my emotions too, like leaning into the fullness of like how I'm gonna feel in this moment. So like knowing this is a part of it. You're frustrated right now. That's a part of it. You're sad right now. That's a part of it. Like, you know, so not really trying to shun those things away too, because that's a part of it. So I think unlearning, to use your word, unlearning the idea that I need to be like, all right, it's the journey. You know, the whole time it's like, no, like it's whack. It's sometimes this part is yeah. So, but still fully leaning into that. So
That's pretty good.
Amen. We still have a little game.
I mean, I did, but we was kind of running low, and I forgot my questions.
Oh,
that's why I was looking for other ones. But I mean, I have some. Like I can always come up with them. So we like came up with this little game. Like it's literally called Little Game.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm doing this is because
can we make it like
sure,
put
it
it
on the
there.
screen? Lil like Lil, like Lil Bow Wow. You just don't know. See grades. Little Game. So it's pretty much just like a auntie version of this or that. So like I'll ask you like two things, or I'll just name two things, and then you'll pick this or that.
Okay.
So for example, I'll say, would you prefer staying in or going out? And you'll say,
staying in.
Staying in. All right. He's a homeboy.
That's it. This is our benediction, by the way. So we gonna let's closing out.
This is our benediction. Okay. So the first one is, do you prefer coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What kind?
Cold brew. Black. Nothing in it.
Black cold brew? No.
Oh yeah. Wow. Are you?
I don't drink
coffee. Huh?
Well, I don't drink it for the taste, but it gets the job done.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like me and wine.
It's like otherwise, I drink it for the taste. I really put a little.
I drink it for the taste now.
A little coffee in my creamer, honestly.
Sure. You definitely do. So she likes cream. Okay, so this is a very auntie question for us for sure. Okay. Silver or gold?
I would say silver, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because wait, do I give a?
Yeah, sure.
I think silver. I've just never been like the kind of person like. I feel like gold is more of like, hey, see me kind of thing, and silver is more of a like. It's less like look at me, like you still look very, very nice, but it's like I see silver not as more classy than gold, but there's like more chill. Like I'm chill. Like I still look good, but like
I got on me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
But gold is
gold. I'm gold all day long. That's interesting. I don't think I expected for you to say gold, but that's cool. That's cool. Okay, next. I feel like I know the answer to this, but introvert or extrovert?
Introvert, but I would say I think I'm a social introvert. Like if I know, like I think Joy can probably attest to this. Like I'm the talkative, like no filter, making jokes when I shouldn't. Friend in the group a lot of times. But if I don't know you or if I have to meet new people, I'm very reserved. Like I'm just very reserved. I'll speak when I need to, but like, I'm chilling.
But it's interesting because Evan is also that person at the store, like who'll make conversation with the person.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
Right. Thank you. Like, how you doing, Miss Vicky? Right. Yeah.
That's cool, bro. Like, what's going on?
Fair enough. That's great. Love that. I love that. And then I'm gonna make up one.
Wow.
Do you prefer listening to the radio or plugging in the aux?
The aux. I hate the radio, honestly.
Too.
No shade to whoever likes the radio, but
FM guy.
No. I can't even remember the last time I listened to the radio. I forget that it still exists, to be honest with you. But yeah, definitely my own kind of music. Like, because like I have a different vibe every time I get in the car. Like sometimes it's Afro beats. Sometimes it's gospel.
Mm.
Sometimes it's R&B. Sometimes it's rap music. So like, it really just depends. I'm not trying to have to like, click through
Right.
For sure.
Right.
They only playing 3 songs on here
Correct.
right now.
Exactly.
Like literally, you can change one of the 3
Right.
for sure. Well, thank you so much for playing our little game.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yes, indeed. Well, Evan, thank you, friend. Just
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes,
We
of
love
course,
having you.
of course.
Because it's almost Valentine's Day.
It is.
It's your last
It
name.
is.
It was Valentine's Day. That was a good one.
Thank you. I was gonna say something about the last name. I was gonna do something.
I see you.
Okay. They also do that thing where they like ask me about each other by their like at names. Like, how's Eval or something? It was like,
Definitely.
I
Definitely. That's me. All of Joy's friends, like I'm literally like, hey, how's Valentine one?
I ask about you all the time too, so feelings mutual. Let's be friends. You might as well.
We are friends. It's not a let's be.
I bet. I
Already
just wanted to make sure we're on the same page about this.
We definitely are.
All right, bet.
Okay, glad y'all had that little
I
moment.
can't wait to come.
Glad y'all had that moment.
I can't wait to. It's gonna be lit. Can I get some of the loaf?
Yeah, absolutely. You can get a whole loaf. You can get a whole loaf.
All right.
I'm so ready.
Come
for
on,
the loaf.
Lola.
So ready for that bread.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm done.
And
Okay,
leave.
let's wrap.
All right, speaking of leaving.
All right.
Y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all. The next time y'all get dropped off at your auntie's house.